My friends, I want you to listen very carefully to what I am about to share with you. During my 20 years of intensive research, studying the methods and principles of more than 500 of America's most successful individuals, I made a startling discovery. A discovery so profound, so life-changing, that it has the power to transform any person from failure to success, from poverty to riches, from despair to triumph. What I discovered were 5 simple habits, not theories, not wishful thinking, but proven scientific habits that, when applied consistently, will revolutionize your entire existence. Now, you may be asking yourself, Napoleon, if these habits are so simple, why isn't everyone successful? And that, my friends, is precisely the point. Success is simple, but it is not easy. It requires discipline, persistence, and the willingness to do what unsuccessful people will not do. These 5 habits, when properly understood and applied, will change your life so dramatically that your own family will not recognize the person you become. You will think differently, act differently, and most importantly, you will attract different results. But I must warn you, knowledge without application is worthless. You must not merely understand these habits, you must live them, breathe them, and make them as natural as your heartbeat. Are you ready to discover the 5 habits that will transform your life forever? Then let us begin with the first habit, the habit that forms the foundation of all personal achievement. Habit number 1, the daily practice of definiteness of purpose. The first habit that every successful person has mastered is the daily practice of definiteness of purpose. This means that every morning, before you engage in any other activity, you must spend time reviewing and reinforcing your major definite purpose in life. Now, let me be perfectly clear about this. I am not talking about vague wishes or indefinite hopes. I am talking about a written statement clearly defining exactly what you intend to accomplish, by what date you will accomplish it, and what you intend to give in return for its realization. Henry Ford, one of the richest men I have ever studied, told me personally, Napoleon, the person who has no definite major purpose, is as helpless as a ship without a compass. And he was absolutely right. Every morning, without fail, you must read your definite major purpose aloud. Not silently, but aloud, with emotion, with conviction, with burning desire. This daily repetition programs your subconscious mind to work automatically toward the achievement of your goal. But here is what most people fail to understand. Your subconscious mind is like a powerful magnet. When you feed it a clear, definite purpose backed by burning desire, it begins to attract to you the people, the circumstances, the opportunities that will help you achieve that purpose. This is not mysticism. This is scientific fact. Your thoughts, repeated with emotion and conviction, become the blueprint from which your subconscious mind works to transform your desires into their physical equivalent. I knew a man who was earning $25 a week as a clerk in a small store. Every morning for 6 months, he repeated his definite major purpose: I will earn $100 per week within 1 year by providing exceptional service in the automobile industry. Within 8 months, not 12, he was earning $150 per week as a successful automobile salesman. The daily practice of definiteness of purpose had attracted to him exactly the opportunities he needed to achieve his goal. This habit must become as automatic as brushing your teeth. Every single morning, without exception, you must reinforce your major purpose in your conscious mind so that your subconscious mind can work 24 hours a day to bring it into reality. Habit number 2, the discipline of controlled thinking. The second habit that will transform your life is the discipline of controlled thinking. This means that you must become the master of your own thoughts rather than the victim of random mental impulses. Most people, and I say this with great emphasis, most people have no control whatsoever over their thought processes. They allow their minds to be influenced by every negative suggestion, every discouraging comment, every fear-inducing headline that crosses their path. But successful people have learned to guard their minds as carefully as they guard their bank accounts. They understand that thoughts are things, and that negative thoughts produce negative results just as surely as positive thoughts produce positive results. Andrew Carnegie, the richest man of his generation, shared with me a secret that changed my life forever. He said, Napoleon, I have become rich because I learned to think only thoughts that move me toward my definite major purpose. and I refuse to permit my mind to dwell upon anything that moves me away from it. This habit requires constant vigilance. The moment a negative thought enters your mind, you must immediately replace it with its positive equivalent. When doubt creeps in, you must replace it with faith. When fear appears, you must replace it with courage. When thoughts of limitation arise, you must replace them with thoughts of abundance. I want you to understand that your mind is the only thing over which you have complete control. You cannot control the economy, the weather, or other people's actions, but you can absolutely control your own thoughts. And here is a scientific fact that will astound you. Your thoughts control your emotions. Your emotions control your actions. Your actions control your results. Therefore, by controlling your thoughts, you control your entire destiny. Make this a daily habit. Throughout each day, monitor your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought moving me toward my goal or away from it? If it is moving you toward your goal, dwell upon it. If it is moving you away from your goal, dismiss it immediately and replace it with a constructive thought. This habit alone, practiced consistently, will transform your life more dramatically than any other single thing you can do. Habit number 3, the daily accumulation of specialized knowledge. The third habit that separates the successful from the unsuccessful is the daily accumulation of specialized knowledge in your chosen field of endeavor. General knowledge, no matter how vast, is of little value in the accumulation of wealth. But specialized knowledge, organized and directed toward a definite end, is one of the most powerful tools for achieving success. Thomas Edison, with only 3 months of formal education, became one of the world's greatest inventors, not because he possessed general knowledge, but because he accumulated specialized knowledge in the field of invention and applied it persistently toward definite ends. Every successful person I have studied, without exception, made it a daily habit to increase their knowledge in their chosen field. They read, they studied, they attended lectures, they associated with experts, they never stopped learning. But here is the key. They did not study everything. They focused their learning on the specific knowledge that would help them achieve their definite major purpose. They became specialists, not generalists. I want you to establish this habit immediately. Set aside at least 1 hour each day for the study of specialized knowledge related to your major purpose. Read books, attend seminars, take courses, interview successful people in your field, but never, ever let a day pass without increasing your specialized knowledge. Knowledge is only potential power, but when that knowledge is organized and directed through a definite plan of action toward a definite end, it becomes actual power. The person who accumulates specialized knowledge and learns to organize and use it will always have the advantage over the person who depends solely on general knowledge or the knowledge of others. Make this a sacred habit. Your mind is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The more specialized knowledge you acquire, the more valuable you become to yourself and to others. Habit number 4, the rendering of useful service. The fourth habit that will revolutionize your life is the daily practice of rendering useful service to others. This means that every day, you must look for ways to help other people solve their problems, satisfy their needs, and achieve their desires. This principle is based upon one of the most fundamental laws of success. You can have anything you want in life if you will simply help enough other people get what they want. Andrew Carnegie understood this principle perfectly. He became one of the richest men in America, not by thinking about how much money he could make, but by thinking about how much service he could render to society through the production of steel. The more useful service you render, and the better quality of service you provide, the greater will be your reward. This is not theory. This is natural law, as dependable as the law of gravity. But here is what you must understand. The service you render must be performed in the right spirit. It must be rendered willingly, cheerfully, and with the sincere desire to help others. Service rendered grudgingly, or with the sole motive of personal gain, defeats its own purpose. I knew a man who was struggling to make ends meet as a life insurance salesman. His income was barely sufficient to support his family. But then he changed his approach completely. Instead of thinking about how much insurance he could sell, he began thinking about how he could help families protect themselves financially. He studied each prospect's needs carefully and recommended only the coverage that would genuinely benefit them. He followed up with his clients regularly to ensure their needs were being met. He became not a salesman, but a trusted advisor. Within 2 years, His income had increased by more than 500%. He became one of the most successful agents in his company's history. The habit of rendering useful service had transformed his entire career. Make this a daily practice. Each morning, ask yourself, how can I be of greater service today? How can I help more people? How can I add more value to everything I do? Remember this truth: the size of your success is determined by the size of the service you render. If you want to increase your income, increase your service. If you want to advance in your career, become more valuable to your employer and your customers. Service is the rent you pay for the space you occupy on this earth. The more service you render, the more space you are entitled to occupy, and the greater will be your rewards. Habit number 5, the daily practice of going the extra mile. The fifth and final habit that will complete your transformation is the daily practice of going the extra mile. This means doing more than you are paid to do, rendering better service than is expected, and always striving to exceed rather than merely meet the requirements. This habit, more than any other, distinguishes successful people from unsuccessful people. Unsuccessful people do just enough to get by. They give just enough effort to avoid being fired. They provide just enough service to collect their paycheck. But successful people have learned that the person who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does. They understand that going the extra mile is the only mile that is never crowded. When I worked for Andrew Carnegie, I observed this principle in action every single day. Carnegie surrounded himself with men who had the habit of going the extra mile. And these men, without exception, became wealthy and successful because of this habit. Charles Schwab, who became president of Carnegie Steel Company, at a salary of $75,000 per year plus bonuses that sometimes exceeded $1 million, told me, "Napoleon, I am paid this enormous salary not for what I know, but for what I do with what I know, and for my willingness to go the extra mile in everything I undertake. Going the extra mile creates opportunities that would never exist otherwise. It brings you to the favorable attention of those who can help you advance. It develops your skills and abilities faster than any other method. It builds your reputation as someone who can be depended upon to get things done. But most importantly, going the extra mile develops your character. It builds self-discipline, initiative, leadership ability, and personal magnetism. These qualities make you indispensable to any organization and invaluable in any field of endeavor. Make this a sacred habit. In everything you do, do a little bit more than is expected. When you are asked to complete a task, complete it better and faster than anticipated. When you provide a service, provide better service than your competition. When you make a commitment, exceed that commitment. I want you to remember this: the extra mile is never crowded. While others are doing just enough to get by, you will be establishing yourself as a person of excellence, a person of value, a person who deserves and will receive greater rewards. The law of increasing returns guarantees that you will be compensated for going the extra mile. It may not happen immediately, but it will happen as surely as night follows day. The master formula: transforming habits into lasting success. Now, my friends, you have learned the 5 habits that will transform your life forever. But knowledge without application is worthless. You must now take these habits and make them a permanent part of your daily routine. Let me share with you the master formula for transforming these habits into lasting success. First, you must practice all 5 habits simultaneously. They work together synergistically, each one making the others more powerful. You cannot pick and choose. You must embrace all 5 with equal dedication. Second, you must practice these habits consistently, every single day without exception. Consistency is the mother of mastery. A habit is only as strong as your commitment to practice it daily. Third, you must have faith, absolute faith, that these habits will work for you just as they have worked for every successful person throughout history. Doubt is the enemy of achievement. Faith is the foundation of all success. Fourth, you must be patient. These habits will not transform your life overnight, but they will transform your life if you give them time to work their magic. Success is the result of daily habits practiced consistently over time. And finally, you must never, ever give up. There will be days when these habits seem difficult. There will be times when you question their value. But I assure you, if you persist, if you continue practicing, these habits will reward you beyond your wildest dreams. I have seen these habits transform the lives of thousands of people. I have witnessed failures become successes, paupers become millionaires, followers become leaders, all through the consistent application of these 5 simple habits. The choice is now yours. You can continue living as you have always lived and get the same results you have always gotten. Or you can embrace these habits and begin the most exciting journey of your entire life. Your future is in your hands. Your success is within your reach. Your transformation begins the moment you decide to make these habits a permanent part of your daily existence. Remember, my friends, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve, you have within you right now all the ability necessary to achieve whatever you can conceive and believe. Make today the first day of your new life. Begin practicing these habits immediately, and watch as your life transforms from ordinary to extraordinary, from mediocre to magnificent, from failure to phenomenal success. This is your time. This is your opportunity. This is your moment to step into the greatness that has been waiting for you all your life. Take action now. Begin today. And let these 5 habits transform your life forever. Thank you for your attention. May your success be swift and certain.